Hey everybody, welcome to the PHP. My name would be Booker. That's my friend Perez. What's going on?
Well, I have a lot of good news and a lot of bad news, but more good than bad.
Oh, good.
So let me give you a preview of everything that we're going to talk about.
I want to know what the good news is now. Please dump it on me. All of it.
Well, the good news is we have a lot of Harry Styles to talk about, and he is what we need right now.
Indeed.
We're also going to discuss the downfall of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Halsey versus the music industry, Doja Cat's implosion, Rihanna violated, big Britney Spears news, Chris Brown being toxic, and an interview with RuPaul's Drag Race icon, Derrick Barry. But first, I don't even know anything I could say, and I can't imagine anything you could say that would offer insight or comfort or just move things forward after what happened in Texas. I literally wanted to mention it, but we're not going to. What can we say? So let's keep it moving.
Well, you can express your emotions if you like. I do understand it. You're a parent, and I don't understand that. I couldn't, people ask, how come you don't have kids? I just bringing them into this world, and, you can't even send them out to school without worrying. It just it's a hell of a weight to bear, and to see what could happen to kids. It's hard.
Like, I almost feel selfish. I don't even want to talk about it. I feel like I literally feel sick over this. Like like my head felt like it was going to explode yesterday. Like I had to take a leave, and I still don't feel well, but I feel selfish because I can only imagine what those parents must be feeling like that lost 19 children. So anyways,
I think it's okay to feel exactly the way you're feeling, and to vocalize how you're feeling. I think the whole country is feeling the exact same way that you are, and what you just said. It's just nonsensical at this point. This doesn't happen anywhere else. This only happens in America. This only happens in America.
and
I mean, there's been we're over 200 mass shootings this year. It's May.
and
Like, at what point is the breaking point in this country? It baffles me, and you hear me get all charged up about it. And I don't want to hear it from you gun nuts. I'm from West Virginia. Okay. I understand the role of guns in a culture, and I get their use and value and blah, blah, blah. I understand it. I'm not some left-wing, on fire liberal that's from California that's not in touch. I grew up poor in West Virginia. I don't want to fucking hear it. I've seen it myself. I was thinking this morning, this is a true story. I don't think I've ever told you this story on the podcast. When I was, I think maybe 9 or 10, I was playing in the trailer park with my best and only friend, Brian Stolaric. And we were passing football in his front little slip of grass in front of his trailer. And we hear this argument going on. And we did not live in a good neighborhood by any means. So arguments and people fighting and dogs running everywhere. And it was just part of life. And we hear something, but that something was followed by boom. And this woman had run out of her trailer, and she had shot, I guess, her husband right in the chest, right in front of my buddy Brian and I. So here I am, like 9 or 10, and I'm watching this.
You didn't actually see the moment she did that. You just heard it.
It's like you're passing football, and this happened adjacent to us. So
Sure.
It's, you know what I mean? You jerk your head, and I'm like, a gunshot scares you. It's the scariest thing in the world. And I only remember being scared. I know the story now, but it's been too many years where I can't actually see it, but I do recall the man laying in the street bleeding out. And then we ran inside. Our parents took us inside, and the paramedics came, and blah, blah, blah. The person died. But what kind of country is that I can tell that story? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on that I could tell that story? That's fucking crazy that I'm a kid and I see that. What's even crazier is that it happens to kids. That, it's the new normal where kids have to learn how to, hide under a desk or whatever the fuck they got to do. It's ridiculous.
And a reminder, as you mentioned, it's like, we don't even need reminders, but just because people all over the world, every country has folks with mental health issues. That's not a problem that's exclusive to America.
Right.
But all those
their access to guns is the problem. Yeah.
No, ours is.
No, I'm just saying the people that are ill, their access to guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Kellen, could you help me out, please? Jesus Christ, there's a dog 2 seconds away. Like, she doesn't hear it barking. I hear it barking.
Yeah. So, yeah. I had a wonderful weekend with my 7-year-old. We were in San Diego and spent 3 days, just the two of us together, celebrating her birthday. And it made me happy to be able to have that time with her. And then, I learned a little bit from, I'm just stupid sometimes. I'm very stupid a lot of the times, actually.
I think we both are.
Because
I think everyone is. Yeah, you don't really you notice moments.
You keep making a lot of the same mistakes. Like, I knew I was going away, and the smart thing would have been, when I got back, to not do anything Monday or Tuesday. But unfortunately, I had an busier than normal Monday or Tuesday, to the point of like barely getting any sleep since I've been back. Mm-hmm. But, at least I know that, like, on Monday, I did something very nice for my mother, and that's good karma. I took my mother to the plastic surgeon.
Oh, no. You're not supposed to tell people this. This is one thing you're supposed to keep.
I got it for free,
inside.
So no, it's a trade.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Carl Truesdale in Beverly Hills. Getting work done is great. Getting work done for free is even
much better.
So,
I wanted to take a second to thank you, Perez. I had the worst weekend on the planet. I did lose that dog. A lot of you saw on Instagram, and last week was one of the hardest things I have ever went through, because this whole being forced to play God, if you will, to sit there and say you're a puppy, you're, 15 weeks old or however old the dog was at this point, and to say, I want you to fight because, you might be able to pull out of this, versus you're suffering and how much can you take, and to sit and watch an animal suffer and have to make that choice. Like, I'm not qualified to do that. And the things we were doing, I'll never know if it was the right thing. The dog can't tell me, please continue to fight for me. I don't want to die. And just watching it for a solid week, like I'm telling you, last week on this show, I don't remember a second of it. I was so tired and exhausted, and it went into the weekend.
I remember it.
You do. I was crabby. Sorry. But I did, my birthday also was on Friday. So I'm going through that, which was the saddest birthday on the planet. But Perez, you did send me a nice gift, and I thank you. And I wanted to say out loud that I value our friendship, and I thank you for thinking on me, because I got to tell you, it was a hard weekend.
God, what a bummer.
Goodbye, everybody. We suck.
Back to my mother. She thought she was going in just for Botox, and I surprised her with Botox and fillers.
Oh, wow.
But what's great is this Dr. Carl Truesdale really is so good that my mother, first of all, she's never in her life had fillers before. She's had Botox before, but never fillers. So this was something new, and she'd been feeling down. Like my mom's been really, it's been hard to watch, honestly. Like she's close to 70 now, and over the last 3 years has become a completely different person. She used to be so social, and now it's like literally pulling teeth to ever get her to go out of the house. Like she's such a homebody now, and you may not realize that, but if you don't leave, if you don't interact with people, that starts to affect your mood, your well-being. Sure. And she's been really down lately. And because of her appearance, partly too, like she's lost weight. She's healthy, but she's lost weight. And if you lose weight, like your face changes and all this stuff. So she needs fillers. Anyways, it looks so natural. So go check out my social media. I posted it everywhere. You can see my mom's makeover.
I noticed, by the way, you did not mention Johnny Depp at all. Like, come on. Now, last week, I know I said a lot of people are on tilt with this, but we're still an entertainment show. My God, they're entertainment. We have to talk about them. And I saw a story that after all of this time finally has sucked me in.
Oh,
the fact that they're going to call on my
Kate
number
Moss.
my number one crush of all time. I mean, that iconic, I don't know if you remember, because you probably never left New York City when you were in New York City, but if you would go out through the Lincoln Tunnel for years, there was that David Yurman billboard that was sat right outside of the Lincoln Tunnel, right before you would go into the tubes there. And it was of her. It was that because she was the cover girl forever for David Yurman.
Oh,
and I
didn't know that. I was thinking further back in the 90s, like her Calvin Klein ads with Mark Wahlberg.
No, I'm thinking David. I think I'm thinking David Yurman. And maybe I have it wrong. Fuck, I could. But just seeing that was always like, it was, I don't know, some weird reminder, like going into New York City, like, you know, she was the gateway. This is this fantasy land when I was a kid that I got to be a part of, and I was part of the game and the system. And I don't know, but seeing that she might be a part of this trial now, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm interested.
I did make a note to talk about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, that I'm not talking about it this
Why?
week.
You're done with it?
I'm not done with it, but honestly, like after what happened in Texas, like I just don't want to talk about it. And especially because like it's trending right now over what happened in Texas. Like it's getting more social media interactions this moment than the tragedy that happened.
I guess I have to be the voice of the people again, because it is what it is. And if that's what people are talking about, to quote you, that's what we have to talk about.
I don't have anything to add this week. It was last week. I mean, this week, I'm thankful that it's the home stretch. It's almost over. There's been, a ton of more witnesses. There's a possibility that Johnny Depp might take the stand on Friday of this week, the last day before closing arguments. Strategically, his team allegedly thinks that it'll be smart to end with him, like the last impression before closing arguments. I don't know. It's like, it's crazy to me to think that men and women, but especially women, are bullying people for thinking differently than them. As I've said repeatedly, I believe Amber Heard and I believe Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Amber Heard and I don't believe Johnny Depp. And people are calling me stupid and facts,
the truth, and all of this stuff they don't know. And that's what agitates me about this whole thing. What you just said, we don't know.
Yeah. And not only that, not only are people bullying me and attacking me for having that opinion, which I think is fucking sensible.
It's fair.
But I've actually lost followers on social media for expressing that. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. I say one thing about me. as I said earlier, or did I say it? I don't remember. I'm a little bit crazy, or maybe a lot crazy. That's the candle that I sent you. It's something about being crazy. I'm crazy. It's like, and also like, I'm selfish at times. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to say what I want to say. And I don't have a boss. I'm my own boss. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. And like, that's my opinion on this. And if you don't like, and if you're going to unfollow me because of that one opinion, stick this finger up your butthole and then put it in your mouth.
Well,
okay.
Here's where we differ. I say, don't focus on them. Focus on the people that are here. And
All right. So,
you know, fuck them.
Well, no,
I agree with everything you just said, except for I wouldn't waste my time with them. I think
the people that watch and listen to the podcast have been doing it for a while now, and they've gotten to a point where they understand, well, I'm not going to agree with them on everything.
You are exactly right.
And
I literally wanted to make that point when talking about Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's like family, right? Like,
right. Our audience they just get it. They get the real OGs, the people that come back every week, that download the show every week. That's whatever appointment, whatever drive they take, whatever they're doing in their house, whatever they're shopping, whatever they're working out, whatever those people are, they're ours. It's all of us, and they get it. But sometimes you'll get these people, and this was the wrong week for me, by the way, for this to happen. But these outlier, not really fans, these parasites of entertainment, the people of entertainment that I don't like, that maybe checked us out for the first time, that don't get the show.
I do like new people checking.
I do too, out. But I like new people that, with a little bit of understanding of what we do. Like, maybe lay back in the weeds for a week and go, I don't know, I don't know. Maybe I hate this fucking guy Booker, but maybe I like him. Perez has always been an asshole, but fuck him. I like this story, whatever. Just sit back in the weeds for a week, but they'll get a hold of the phone number and they'll be like, Booker, fuck you, you fucking asshole. And I'm like, this is what it must be like to be Perez all day long, because I read some of your comments from time to time and I'm like, if this is what it's like to have fans, I don't want to have fans. I don't. That's the thing with me. I've been around celebrity my entire career and I've just seen the ugliness of it. And it's almost made me say, I don't want that. I like doing this and I like talking about it. And it's a safe place with you because you're bulletproof to all this stuff. I don't know how. I'm not quite as bulletproof as you. When I see it, I'm like, wow, what a dirtbag. And I don't even want anything to do with it,
Kim Kardashian has said in interviews recently, and she's said it in the past, but it was brought up again, because of the promotion for the new Hulu show. And she said something along the lines of, she always dreamed of being famous when she was young. And not everybody is cut out for the level of fame that Kim Kardashian has. And she is, and so much so that she courts it, she manipulates it, she exploits it, she knows how to work it. And the same,
and one more important word, she understands it.
Yeah, and the same is true for me. I also dreamed of being fantasized, daydreamed about being famous when I was young. And I don't have fame. I have infamy, which is a different kind of fame. But I still get some of the perks of fame, and I'm happy with that. And I also gave up a while ago the effort and the hope that I will ever be able to change the majority of people's perceptions of me. So I'm just living my fucking life.
and that's what you should do. And like, back to the gifts that even when I was sick at COVID, he sent me cookies. I don't even know if I brought that up. You're a good guy, man. And I know that. And I find some weird fun in the fact that maybe there are people that say, why would you do a podcast with Perez Hilton? I think it's cool that I know who you are and they fucking don't. And I love that people have perceptions of everything and anything. You know that about me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about anybody's perception of shit. I truly only give a shit what I think about things. That's it. That's me, So I enjoy, that's maybe why I enjoy this so much. I enjoy our friendship because of it.
I ran into somebody from your past earlier this week.
Who's that?
I was doing promotion for our podcast, because that's another thing. Oh my God. I literally am running on fumes. Like, I don't even know how many hours I've gotten of sleep since Sunday night. I, for some stupid reason, did not put two and two together. And I had agreed to do a radio tour Monday morning. So as a radio professional, you know, that means I literally for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, from 10 minutes with one station, then another station, then another station.
You did a whole tour.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I had to wake up extra early to be on the East Coast.
Do an East Coast station, sure.
And a few of the people knew you because I'm promoting the podcast and mytrue10.com, my CVDs. And one guy said, I think I remember his name, or
tell me the market.
But maybe you'll remember after I tell you the story. He brought up, when he was in his early 20s, he interviewed for a job with me and he didn't get it.
With you?
Not with me, with the guy that was interviewing me.
Oh, okay.
He's like, he interviewed for a job with me and he didn't get it because I told him he sounded too Southern. You remember that guy?
His name's John Lastman, and he was a program director in Minnesota.
But does he have he has a persona, like an alter ego, a different name that he goes by on the radio?
I'm sure he does, but his
like
real
Chris Rock or John
I have no
Rock?
idea.
I don't know, whatever.
But his real name is John Lastman. I know who this is exactly. I was interviewing for a job in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, which I was so excited because Minneapolis and Prince, and I was to take over for a guy that would become one of
you were already somewhere in the Midwest. You were in another market.
I was in Kansas. No, I was in Pittsburgh at the time. Maybe I was in Kansas City. I don't recall. I can't remember what city I was in. But yeah. And I went up and I did an overnight shift. And that's in the old days when they would fly you into a market to do some shows. I mean, his radio changed. They flew me in, I did a show. And then he's like, I really like what you're doing, but you sound too Southern on the radio. And he literally told me that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I ended up my Southern ass ended up moving to New York and taking a job. And thank God I didn't get that job, or I probably wouldn't have ended up in New York, then Los Angeles and Philly and everywhere else. But
he said
he's a good dude, very good dude.
He said now that was just a bullshit excuse, that wasn't the real reason he didn't get the job.
I just sucked. That's probably it. That was probably it. And it's hard coming into audition on a station when you don't know the market, you don't know the people. The only thing I knew about Minnesota and Minneapolis was, Prince was from there. That's the only thing I cared about.
And then the Long Island radio station that I did also, they were familiar with you because you were on K-Rock for a long time.
I wonder what station.
Chris Booker really is a radio DJ, a radio legend, ladies and gentlemen.
30 years of this bullshit.
I know. All right. This has been the longest intro
ever, and it was sweet. So fuck everybody if you don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, of course.
Before we really start with the show, I don't want to mention his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but there was a special friend of mine who helped our show get so much press last week for my interview with Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt. It got picked up on page 6, The Sun, the Daily Mail.
Perez kept sending me article after article. And it's funny, in the midst of all this Johnny Depp horse shit, you're getting all of this press for something completely different, which was kind of my point. This show is the greatest hits of everything, of what's going on in pop culture. So I love that it was something not Johnny Depp related that you got a ton of mileage out of, and you did. And some scoop.
Yeah, and they linked back to our show. So thank you to my friend.
Oh, wow.
And thank you to all of those outlets.
We apologize to the new people who are listening that just had to listen to us yammer on about ourselves for the past 20 minutes.
All right.
Sorry.
So happy that it's grilling season and Meter is back sponsoring the podcast. Actually, not only is it grilling season, I would say this is the biggest grilling weekend of the year.
That's right.
Memorial Day weekend. You could maybe get a griller you can maybe get a Meter sent to you ASAP.
I'm sure they do an overnight option, and I think it's worth it, especially if it's a gift for somebody. It's funny that you just brought up Meter, because I was putting my dishes away that I cleaned from last night. I made chicken, had the Meter out to get the 165 temperature of my chicken. I actually pull mine around 155 because it cooks internally for a while. But that thing is so perfect to get your chicken or your meats or whatever you're cooking, to get that exact perfect temperature to pull it so you never have dry meat. Dry meat sucks. And meter is perfect. Oh, yeah. Meter is perfect for that. I mean, if you're into precise cooking and you don't want to overcook crap, get a meter. Every barbecue person would absolutely take it from a barbecue guy. Everyone would love a meter. I love mine. You'll love yours too.
And a reminder, because that's how we learn through repetition. Father's Day is literally right around the corner.
Best gift ever.
Yeah, a meter will be coming in very handy for your dad or your grandfather or your husband.
Yes.
Okay. And right now, we're going to give you guys 10% off if you go to meter.com and use code Hilton. That's MEATER.com and use code Hilton to get 10% off. All right. On to Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle. They are making headlines because it has been announced that they are doing, this is literally how it was described, an at-home docuseries for Netflix. For those of you who don't know the lingo, that means they're doing a reality show. And I, once again, pissed off people because on social media, I expressed my opinion in the form of a question. So it was my opinion though. I asked, isn't this, I just outed myself. I could have said I never believed that because I asked it as a question, but I do believe it. My question was, isn't this beneath them? Isn't it so common?
What else are they going to do? You've heard me harp on this. There's nothing there. And by the way, give them a reality show. 4 people will watch. They're not interesting people. They're just not interesting people.
Not only that, I mean, okay, first of all, I think this is a mistake because you need to have quality control front and center in your mind when you are an A-lister, and they're celebrities now. They're not royals, they're celebrities. And if you make a lot of missteps, your celebrity is gonna take a hit. And to make good reality television, you need drama. They are too image conscious and not going to give us drama. They're not gonna go there. They're not going to give up the control it takes to make a great reality, because that's what you're right. This is a fucking reality show unless they're sitting in chairs talking about things. This is a fucking reality show. They're not going to acquiesce that control. They're not going to do it because they're too, as you said, they're trying to constantly control the narrative. It's only when you really peel back the curtains and you really get to see the people and you say, I have nothing to do with the editing. I will not touch this. I will let you guys navigate the story. The Kardashians do have final say over what's in or out of their new show.
However, they probably didn't in the beginning. No. They didn't know what they were doing, and they were just a family, just like anybody else. That's the secret sauce of that show. It was just a family and being let behind a curtain of a rich family.
But they also know what they signed up for, and they just put it all out there or close to it all. So what do you guys think? Is it a good idea for Meghan and Harry to have a reality show on Netflix? Let us know. Call us 800-721-1185. I get it. They got bills to pay, but first of all, over the last 2 years since they've left the monarchy as senior working royals, they've made
people keep bending over to give them money, and no one cares. At what point do you sit and say, hey, why do we keep giving these people money? Nobody cares about these 2 people. They're not that interesting. It's everything I've been saying about them. They're not, unless they are interesting and we get to see it on this show finally, which we won't. I'll just tell you, we won't. But people keep giving you money when you're famous until they don't. And it will stop.
If I had to guesstimate, I would say they've easily, on the low end, over the last 2.5 years, have made a minimum of $15 million.
Oh God, I think you're way low.
No, yeah,
Way low.
no. And I was saying a minimum. And
I think your minimum bar, you should have sat it at $50 million.
Okay. And then, 25 million after taxes, and then 15 million after the agent, the manager, whatever, the whole team gets paid, but still $15 million cash. Their business manager, investment people will use that to make them more money. They're not hurting for money. No. So they don't need this look. And I think it's a bad one. Going back to my question, what do you all think? Speaking of Meghan Markle, her father, Thomas Markle, a royal pain in the butt, has been hospitalized allegedly after suffering a stroke, sending positive vibes to him. If that is true, part of me is a little bit skeptical. Like, what if he's just faking this for attention? Attention gives him more ability to sell stories and make money. Just had to put that out there. Also,
it's a possibility.
Sending positive vibes to Steven Tyler, who is checked into rehab after suffering a relapse. It's a journey.
Well, something with this, I think he had foot surgery, and he was on some sort of pain management, and he's sober. He's been sober for years. So I don't know if he started taking the meds, and I don't know what the situation is, but I think it's related to that. So side note.
Speaking of Netflix, Jennifer Lopez is having a documentary. You see, that would have been smarter for Harry and Meghan, I think. Instead of doing a reality show, a multi-part reality show, I think they should have done a documentary. There's different expectations, and it could have just been a better look for them. And if it was soft or not dramatic, it's fine. Right. It's a documentary.
But if you're writing the check, because someone's writing the check, you're going to have some juice somewhere, and you can read the room, right? Like everything you just said is so true. Documentary, it's got a better angle to it, but you're not going to make any money off that. This has to be, they're not wanting to call it a reality show because of every reason you just said. But if they did write that check, they need it to be that. They need it to be a look behind the curtain just to see if there's anything back there. I contend there isn't. It's white noise back there.
Also, Dua Lipa has a role in the upcoming Barbie movie, which apparently I keep reading that Barbie movie with Margot is apparently amazing, and it's jam-packed with stars. So it'll be interesting to see if Dua
that went from Amy Schumer being Barbie to Margot Robbie being Barbie. I've been seeing Dua Lipa, and you were talking about her concert. I don't know why. I don't know if my fucking TikTok is listening to you, but all I get is nonstop clips from her concert. And I gotta say, I think you're dead right with how good it is, because I'm actually amazed by the changes, the costumes, the dancing. It looks like a lot of stripping, I'll be honest with you, and it's fantastic for me. It really does. But it is good. I mean, it seems like it's a really good tour. So I don't know. I think I'd want to see it.
I said it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. And
if I was to compare it to, like, let's just say pop star, like I'm putting those up in the air. If I would say Selena Gomez, I went to her tour. What a bore. I mean, it was a snooze. She was kind of going through the motions up there. I felt none of that with any clip I've ever seen. Like, she's fucking into it. Like, she's giving her all and dancing.
Selena's not comfortable on stage.
She's not. And that's what it, and by the way, that's not meant to be a diss at Selena. I think she's a really cool lady and awesome. But
I love her. I love Selena's music. Yeah. So Selena's just not comfortable on stage. And partly it's because she doesn't have the voice, and relies on backing track a ton or lip syncing.
She's just never, I only went once to the big, Staples.
Well, she only really had one big tour.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's what I saw. And I was just underwhelmed because I was close. I had those side of the stage seats, and I just at never any point thought she was having any fun.
All right. Well, speaking of musicians, Halsey who goes by they, she or she, they pronouns. So because she alternates, I'm going to pick she, but mentioning that because she does get upset if they don't mention they.
Okay.
Halsey put her record label on blast, claiming that she's being held hostage and they will not let her release her new song unless a clip of it, the song, a snippet that she's posted on TikTok goes viral. She says, I have a song that I love that I want to release ASAP, but my record label won't let me. I've been in this industry for 8 years and I've sold over 165 million records. And my record company is saying that I can't release it unless they can fake a viral moment on TikTok. Everything is marketing, and they are doing this to basically every artist these days. She's not wrong.
And by the way, I should add this: the record company didn't say she was wrong either. They know.
Yeah.
I think there's a frustration inside of record companies as well. I don't feel that it's universal to artists. I think there's a lot of record associates that feel the same way. Like, we get that the world is changing, and that's an element of what's happening in TikTok. And you need, back to Lizzo's dance or whatever the moments that we've talked about on the show are. It's just part of the game. But the industry and some of these marketing departments have leaned into it so much.
It's just lazy. It's lazy.
Yeah.
And I've heard that from other artists as well. What's wild is I saw that from Halsey, and then literally minutes later, randomly, I was watching an Instagram live from this young musician that I love, very talented. His name is Alec Benjamin. Do you know him? You should check him out. He's great. He was performing a few songs just with his guitar on Instagram Live. And then before he signed off, he said, and please make TikToks with my new song, like begging people to make TikToks with his new song.
Yeah.
A few things also about Halsey. It's time for her to find a new label, because I do think she's proven herself and has had enough success to be able to dictate what she wants to do with her career. That's big point A. And then the counterpoint to that is, unfortunately, the song that she really wants to release that her label won't let her release unless it goes viral on TikTok, it's just not a good song. The snippet that she's put on TikTok, it sucks. I understand why her label doesn't want to release it. It's not a good song.
This isn't from her album she did with Trent Reznor and Atticus. This is brand new. This is something different.
It's new, I believe. Yeah.
And that album sort of came and went. Nothing really popped from it.
If the song was a hit, her label would not be relying on TikTok.
Yeah. And hits just happen on their own. They real hits can't be faked. They just can't. I think you can try all you want. You could put all the money behind things. Real lasting longevity is because there's just something in the song.
I remember, and she's a lovely woman.
Oh my God. She's one of my favorites in the business.
Not
she's
Halsey, the next person. I was going to give you an example.
Halsey's sweet too. She's super, super sweet.
No, there's this songwriter named Bonnie McKee.
Yeah, I know Bonnie. Sure.
Lovely woman.
Lovely.
Who helped Katy Perry write many of her hit songs.
Many, yes.
And then decided that she wanted to try to be an artist again, and not just a songwriter, because she originally came out to LA to be an artist. It didn't work out for her, then became this hit songwriter. And when she decided to be an artist again, she released a song and had all of these celebrities in the music video to try to make it go viral. And it did nothing.
Well, it made her look small because they were stars and she's not yet. You got to make it happen organically. And it was a big misstep on her part, but she's so talented. Yeah. She knows how to write a song. I've interviewed her. She's a really nice lady. She's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a misstep.
Well, speaking of musicians, from Halsey to Doja Cat, this should not surprise anybody that has been paying attention. I mean, just a month or two ago, she said she was quitting the music industry. it didn't happen. She went ahead and performed at Coachella and made appearances at award shows, but Doja Cat has canceled her entire summer plans,
No kidding.
including opening for The Weeknd on his stadium tour, and also some festival lineup gigs that she had. The reason for that is she had emergency tonsil surgery because she had a tonsil infection that she caused because of vaping. She was on antibiotics. She was drinking, mixing booze with antibiotics and vaping, and had to have tonsil surgery. So
she needs a break anyhow. That's
exactly.
Her body telling her that she needs a break. And I didn't like that look, by the way. Her with The Weeknd.
No, she could have been a bigger headliner. Yeah,
He should have done like a medium-sized place and really drove up demand. She's hot. Like she could do bigger.
She could have done it in a stadium and an arena.
I wouldn't have. I would have kept it just a little until the big hit songs really start to roll in. She's got a couple, but
or she could have done an amphitheater tour. You know,
okay, that would have been nice, right? Like
an amphitheater still
situation.
An amphitheater still is the same capacity as an arena, but if it doesn't sell out, like it doesn't look like a flop. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why a lot of artists like playing amphitheaters in the summer. No bigger person in music right now than Harry Styles.
Ooh,
and
ain't that the truth?
The proof is in the pudding, as they say. The music industry, I would argue that we've been in a streaming era for long enough now that it's stabilized, and you can compare things better or easier now. If somebody released an album 3 years ago and released an album now, okay, the music world hasn't changed drastically in the last 3 years. So the best barometer for success is Harry Styles' new album, Harry's House, is projected to debut better than his last album did its first week. And his last album did huge its first week. Harry's last album, his sophomore, debuted to over 478,000 units, I believe. And this new one is expected to debut to over 500,000 units its first week. And on top of that, where he's making the real money, he just set a new record for most vinyls ever sold in a week, beating the record previously held by his ex-girlfriend, Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow.
He's sold over 150,000 copies of Harry's House on vinyl.
Good for kids. I hope they actually go out and buy a record player now. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
or not. They might just buy it, just have it a collector's edition,
but it's funny. Out of the 150,000, 10,000 of them will actually be played.
Yeah. So congratulations to him. Have you heard the new Harry Styles album?
I have. Yeah. There's a few tracks I really like on it. It's funny. First listen for the album, which is typically a good sign for me. When I go, first listen, it always should tell me spend some more time with it. So I have, and I listened to it a couple more times. And there are and if I pull it up, I can tell you, but there's like three to four-ish good songs that I really like. Now, is there anything
3 to 4
that I feel that could be singles? And in this world, in an album doesn't mean anything anymore. It really doesn't. But when you're a Harry Styles or a Taylor Swift, I think you can actually go into an album and say, well, I could see this working, or this could, whatever a hit is, I could see that happening. So there's 3-ish to 4 songs that I see that it could possibly happen for.
I mean, obviously that song that he already did at Coachella, the Late Night Talking, that song's a smash.
That's a great song. That would be the second single without question for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, me
Late
too.
Night Talking, that's a great song.
I love the album.
Good. Yeah, I do too. I think it's really good.
I think it's more than good. It's great. I think it's also what people need. You know, I would describe it as bright, sunny, feel good. Although it's like one of those great things where it's bright, sunny, feel good, but with, lyrics that are not saccharine. Although my one note is, and listen, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It goes back to a discussion we've had a while ago. Harry comes across to me as a bit of a try-hard, meaning, but I appreciate that. I would rather you try hard than not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like literally in more than one song, he mentions cocaine.
Yes.
I get it, dude. Yeah, you're edgy. You do cocaine. It's in or people around you do cocaine. Ooh, you're grown up. Ooh, cocaine. Like once, okay, fine, once. But to mention cocaine in more than one song, it felt so lame. That was lame balls to me. But I love the album. I enjoyed it.
And by the way, he just added shows to his tour, his residencies, if you will, because the Garden in New York and the Forum here in Los Angeles both were 10 nights. They've upped it to 15 nights apiece, which will all, of course, sell out. And I think, I don't know if they added, maybe they did in Chicago as well, but 15 nights. And there's a cool picture if like you're flying over LAX now, you always look down at the Forum and you could, see the roof and stuff. I guess it's got like the Harry Styles like logo for the whole tour is on the roof of the Forum. So it's a cool visual for people that are into that.
Even in her heyday, and listen, I mean, Taylor Swift is still Taylor Swift, but when she was doing multiple nights in arenas, she never did 15 nights in an arena. Well,
she did Staples and holds the record, correct, for most amount of
15.
No. I want to.
It was a lot, but not 15.
Or was it? I kind of feel like it's double digits. I don't recall what that was, and he. I'm not kidding when I say, could he do 20, 25 nights and sell out the Forum in Los Angeles in his sleep? That's how big it is right now. Yeah. In his sleep, he could.
Well, speaking of concerts and musicians, according to a new report, Britney Spears might be doing a new Las Vegas residency.
Interesting.
She's being courted by Resorts World, where Katy Perry does her residency and Carrie Underwood. And I think that's great because Adele has taught us that if life happens, you can always just reschedule. So if Britney announces this and Britney herself had previously announced a residency back in the day. And
the bar for the two of them is in a different place though.
True. Although speaking of Adele, isn't it wild that her dates have not been rescheduled yet? It's almost June, that all went down in February.
Hence the statement I just made, the bar, her trajectory is different, and you get forgiveness when you're going this way, when you're going up.
I was having an interesting conversation with a friend. Adele has definitely peaked for many reasons, but one of them I think is, and not just because of the issue with Vegas, but I feel like the three big problems with Adele. One, her new album, which I love, was more of the same. I don't think people felt like she reinvented enough or evolved enough.
Well, I think it's fair to say it's not as good.
I mean, Easy on Me was an even bigger hit than Hello. It was.
No.
It was.
Hello was
Easy on Me by every metric. More weeks at number one.
The metrics were different then. You're talking
all right, let's not
streaming versus whatever. Hello is a song that your mom would know. Easy on Me not necessarily is.
Yes,
that's how I would compare
it. You're just wrong.
I'm not saying it's not a big song. It's one of the biggest songs of the past year, if not the biggest. But to say it's as big as Hello,
it was bigger.
Ask any one of your buddies about that. I disagree that it has had the cultural relevance of the song Hello.
Anyways, the music is one. The likability factor, she's been rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It slid with that whole misstep of that concert, and whatever went down, it wasn't handled properly.
And the relatability factor. After she lost all this weight, I feel, and like started dressing all Los Angeles and all of this, I just feel like all of that together.
Yeah. Doing the special at the observatory, I did not think that was a good look, loading it with celebrities and, saying I'm in this realm now. It takes the specialness away somehow. You know,
Yeah.
when you associate yourself with that and you're like, I'm a part of this, it's, I don't know, it's off-putting.
Yeah. All right. On to positive news, because we need that peppered throughout the show. It's the highs and the lows. Is so anticlimactic, but Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker got married in Italy over the weekend. And I'm not going to be snarky about it. I would love to get married one day. I would love to find love, to find somebody that is able
I would love that for you.
to see me. My mom prays for that. She's like, before I die, I need that for you. And I want that. So how beautiful, how awesome that they found each other and they're so into each other that they want to, that they're committing themselves to one another and want to spend the rest of their lives together. I hope it lasts for them. I think it will. They had the opportunity to be friends for like a decade plus.
Yeah, they're not spring chickens. They both run through life and had a lot of life happen behind them. And to see the joy that they're expressing, it's a little over the top at times with the tongue and stuff. But I do too. I always say good for you. That's, you know, if you found someone that makes you feel that way, you're lucky. And I think a lot of people's snark is envy.
And I was happy to see that they were not precious with the wedding. Like they didn't, from my perception, like no, the photos were coming out. Photos were coming out in real time. Like Travis Barker's daughter was live streaming and sharing video and photo, and like the first photo that we saw was not a professional image. It was from Travis Barker's daughter.
Yeah.
So I love that. So congratulations to them. It's a Kardashian world and we just live in it. Both Kris Jenner and Pete Davidson are in Time Magazine's 100 most influential people list.
Which means absolutely nothing, by the way.
And very sad to see Kate McKinnon leave Saturday Night Live.
Amen.
Pete
got a lot of the headlines, but she deserves all of the praise. That is one
Pete
seriously
Davidson
talented human being.
Pete Davidson played a version of Pete Davidson in every single thing he did on Saturday Night Live.
It's funny, in his goodbye, he essentially said exactly that.
I did not watch his goodbye, so
it was funny. They brought out Eminem and did some goodbye bit, you know, that he wanted to do with Lorne. It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed his goodbye segment with Colin. It was nice. It wasn't like heartfelt or anything like that. It was fun. It was SNL, but to not have really given Kate McKinnon the proper, you know, she's like Gilda Radner. She's Will Ferrell. She's Eddie Murphy. She's one of these Dan Aykroyd. She's one of those people in a time of SNL, absolutely sucking. She has been the beacon, the bright spot, the absolute talent that every week you could tune in and say, damn, that person has talent, man. She could play anything and anybody. Fantastic actor. Yeah. Fantastic.
She will be greatly missed. In more television news, Ricky Gervais, the British comedian and creator of The Office, just released a new Netflix special, and he spent a lot of time making transphobic jokes.
Okay.
And
are they funny?
I don't even care if they're funny. That's besides the point, because I want to give my thoughts. Funny or not, he's not a person who is trans, and it almost reminds me of what the music industry is doing with TikTok. Go with me here. He is smart, so he knew that by making jokes about trans people, it would get him a lot of attention. To me, it's also lazy. It's cheap. Instead of making trans jokes, like just up your game or find another way to be attention getting. Like, why do you have to use or exploit trans people for attention? It sucks. And it sucks that it feels like it's accepted in 2022 to mock trans people, to make jokes at their expense. It's almost like the world has agreed that, okay, You can make fun of trans people if you're not a
I don't
trans
think the world has
person.
agreed to anything. I think the world has agreed to
I do
comedians.
think it has. I think no,
No. I think
no, no. Let me
think
explain.
people.
Let me explain why. I'll let you say your thought. I feel like the world has agreed that it's okay to make fun of trans people if you're
I
not
think
a
it's
trans.
the world has agreed that it's okay to make
Let
fun of
me finish
anyone.
my thought. No, here, no.
If you can't make fun of them, you can't
Let
make fun
me
of anyone.
finish my thought.
All right.
I feel like the world has agreed that you can make fun of trans people if you're not a trans person, or you can make fun of fat people if you're not a fat person, but you cannot make fun of Black people if you're not a Black person. That's not allowed. So there is a list of what is allowed and what's not allowed.
I think you can make fun of anything if it's funny. That's it. That is it. Nothing is off limits if it's funny and it's good.
But I can
and it's not done with contempt. And knowing Ricky Gervais's comedy, I haven't seen the special, so I hate speaking on something I haven't seen. But I'll go back to Dave Chappelle's special, where he quote makes fun of things, is one of the most heartfelt things as he talks about one of his trans friends that's a comedian. It's completely taken out of context by the entire world and the internet. Most people that talk about these things haven't seen them. I hate when people speak on things that haven't actually been viewed by people. That to me is the definition of lazy. That is lazy. Commenting on something that you haven't seen or invested time into to ask the question, is it done with the intent of harming someone, or is it just bad comedy? It could be a bit of both. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I always go back to
the bigger
is
picture,
it funny?
The bigger picture is, and you can't deny this, there is a trend of it seeming to be acceptable to make trans people the punchline of your joke, the butt of your joke, to make fun of them, to mock them. I think
there's comedy in every single situation in life, whether it be white people, rednecks, Black people, trans people. It's equality. Everybody can be a target when it comes to comedy. If you say, oh, but we can't make fun of that, then it's not comedy anymore.
In more TV news, the breakout star, I think one of the biggest personalities from Selling Sunset, Christine Quinn, is spilling all the tea on the show and making a lot of money along the way. She released a book, Get That Cash. I think it's smart. Cash in while you can, while you're hot. And one of the revelations that she's made is that the creator and executive producer of Selling Sunset, Adam DeVello, told her in front of other people, she claims that there are multiple witnesses. She says this guy told her to kill herself. Do you think the showrunner of Selling Sunset, if he told one of the stars to kill herself, should he be fired?
I don't know. I wasn't there. It's just intended to be funny. Is this in the heat of an argument? Once again, context. It's dead. I have no idea. Asking me to comment on something that I didn't see or hear and which way it was. It's like reading a text. You could read a text from someone and say, wow, Perez just called me a fucking asshole. Someone would say, wow, Perez Hilton just called you a fucking asshole. I go, no, he didn't. He basically said, I love you. You're fucking ridiculous. That's what he said. So context, it's everything.
I'm not one to shy away from having an opinion, regardless of context. He told her to kill herself and she has witnesses. I would say he should not be fired, but he should be benched for a season, which would cost him millions of dollars. So that's my thought on that. In more reality television news, MTV announced that they are, I wouldn't call it a reboot because Jersey Shore is still on TV.
It is?
Yeah. Family Vacation. The OG cast is still on MTV, but they're also introducing a new cast and under the Jersey Shore brand of all new folks that are going to be in the Jersey Shore. And the OG cast is very upset about this. And I'm on MTV's side here. I don't think they should be upset. They're still getting employed. They still have a paycheck from MTV. So that's that. In some happy news, but also frustrating news, Rihanna just gave birth to her first child with A$AP Rocky, her first child ever. It's a boy, according to reports, but the news was spoiled by a healthcare professional. Somebody that works at the hospital tweeted about it the day that Rihanna was there. I mean,
yeah,
I would imagine that everybody, even if you're not a doctor or a nurse, I would imagine that even like the janitor at I could be wrong. If you work at a hospital, let me know, correct me if I'm wrong, 800-721-1185. But I'm working under the presumption that anybody that works in a hospital has to take patient confidentiality, has to adhere to that.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a doctor or nurse. Is that right?
I mean, I would think in any profession, any place that gives you a check, there are protocols and courses that you have to take yearly or bi-yearly. And maybe there aren't, and there should be, or maybe this is just you know, you're starstruck. You really didn't think anything of it. There's no malice. There's no intent. There was no, like, I'm trying to scoop the world. This is pure joy and excitement. Like, wow, Rihanna was here, and making the assumption that everybody already knows what the kid's going to be. You're not inside the industry. You don't follow how it works or understand. I don't know. I'm going to give them a pass this one time, because of the job that these people do is fucking hard. They're near death all day long. They serve people. If this person made a little tiny mistake, tell the person, hey, we can't do that anymore, and let's get on with our lives. These people
saying the person should be fired.
I'm just giving my 2 cents. I think these people are far too important to society to dwell on this faux pas.
It does, you know, raise a big red flag. Like, I think that person should have known better.
Is it that big of a deal that somebody knows the sex of a person that we're going to find out hours later?
No. The person didn't reveal the sex. The person revealed the same day that Rihanna went to the hospital that she was there, like in real time. Like, it could have also been a security issue. You know, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Security issue?
There's a lot. I
get it. Listen. Ultimately, you're right. Your privacy should be protected, but you're a celebrity anywhere. Listen, if Rihanna walked into a coffee shop and you are a barista and you tweeted, Rihanna's getting some coffee, is it that big of a deal? No, that's just, the person's not thinking that way. They're not thinking that I'm doing something wrong here. It's pure excitement. A celebrity just entered into where I am. Pass for me. I'm giving this person a big pass.
All right. I think it's still very inappropriate. Speaking of Rihanna, her ex and abuser, Chris Brown, congratulated her on social media for the birth of her son. And a lot of people were offended and upset by that. I understand that Rihanna and Chris Brown got back together after he assaulted her. I understand that they even collaborated after he assaulted her, but he could have just sent her a text message congratulating her on the baby. Did he have to share that on social media? Was that about Rihanna or was that about Chris Brown? And that's that. All right. Wrapping it up, a couple more things. Speaking of dysfunctional relationships, Shayna Moakler has gotten back together with her boyfriend again, the one that she claims was physically abusive towards her.
Okay.
And finally, let's end things on two positive notes. Congratulations to Ed Sheeran. He and his wife, Sherry, have just welcomed their second child into the world, another daughter. And folks didn't even know publicly that Sherry was pregnant.
I didn't know they had kid one. So how about that? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Congrats to them.
Congratulations to them. And also Ed Sheeran's friend and frequent collaborator, Taylor Swift, was given an honorary degree from my alma mater, NYU. I don't even remember who the hell spoke at my NYU commencement. You don't? Obviously, nobody memorable. It was a long ass time ago. I graduated in 2000.
Maybe you're just too fucking old to remember.
I'm too old. I graduated in 2000. But I loved that speech. If you want a little pick me up, a little pep in your step, some inspiring words, even if you're not a recent college grad, find that video on YouTube and check it out. All right, let's take some calls.
Hey, this is Leah from Chicago, and I don't have a question, but just want to say that I agree with Booker and could give zero fucks about
well, you're in the minority. Most people care, and Booker doesn't not care. Booker, let's just be clear. It's a pop culture show, okay? Booker doesn't want to be court TV and sit there and dissect every second of every day of what happened in that fucking trial or what's happening in that trial. Nobody does. That's not what we do. We're the greatest hits show of what's happening. See this show? We just covered 15 different things. One of the best shows we've done in a long time. That's what I think this show is. Don't get me wrong. And by the way, I'm mildly interested. When Perez tells me the stories of the bullshit that goes down, I think it's great. I think it's funny. I just didn't want to get caught up in the minutia of fucking, every day what was happening. Who cares? Well, here we go. Some people do.
Hi guys, this is Madi calling from Ventura County. Booker, I fucking love you, but you are so fucking annoying.
Oh.
Everyone is into this trial between Johnny Depp and Amber.
All right, I'm fucking annoying. Of course, the last caller doesn't agree with you. And that's another thing about, what's wild? And I guess it comes back to the show, and I'll make it about the show and this audience. There really are two camps in the Johnny Depp thing. There's people that kind of really detest all of this because, especially when you see real things that are like what are happening in the world today, you realize how frivolous and how stupid some of these things are. And there are people that detest that. Then there are also people that are like that absolutely eat every moment of this kind of stuff up and love it and will fight for it and will defend it. It's like, it's wild to me, but I like to think that that's why the show is fucking good, because we have two representatives of both sides of every story. Not every, most people say we fight all the time and disagree. I would fucking disagree with you guys all day long. I think we agree with shit more than we disagree. When we talk about music, I think we're usually we're in step with one another. When we talk about legal proceedings and things, I think we're dead on usually, but I don't know, maybe people just pick up on that stuff and that's what they like. I don't fucking know. I can't figure it out. I'm just glad you guys are listening.
Thank you.
Another call. Let me just give everybody their moment.
Hi, Booker. This is Anastasia from New Hampshire,
Annie.
and you're wrong. Everyone is interested in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing.
All right. Annie has given her 2 cents. Everybody cares.
These are some of my favorite calls.
Oh, there's a lot of those. I could forward them to you if you want to listen to them all. Here we go.
Hi, this is Melanie from Cocoa Beach, Florida. I was calling about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. I agree with both of you. I'm in my early 40s. I think it's blowing up on TikTok, but it's my generation of people. And it's not even about the situation or the severity of oh, is she a victim? Is he a victim or whatever? It's more the drama, but I don't think people care about the details, to be honest with you. I don't care about Amber Heard saying that it was the dog and not her and whatever. I like tidbits, but not a ton of detail. I just occasionally catch it. So I don't think people are that engrossed in it unless you're into all that stuff. So
yeah. Where's Cocoa Beach? It always sounded
Florida.
Nice to me, but no, I know it's in Florida, but what part of Florida? Is that by the Keys, or is it, do you even know, is that on the other coast?
I never even went. Mid coast, maybe?
Is it on the ocean side or on the Gulf side? Do Do you know?
I don't know. I never went to Cocoa Beach.
It's like one of those places I've heard my whole life and I have no idea where it is. Like
I'm going to guess it's by Palm Beach because it sounds snooty.
It does. It sounds like nice to me,
Yeah.
but I've just never been. Call us back and tell us if it's snooty or not.
I never went to Palm Beach either.
Yeah. It's like I always thought Daytona Beach was nice until I went. What a dump. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Tempe, Arizona. And Booker, you are 100% wrong about people not caring about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I don't know if it's because of the economy or gas prices or inflation or the war, but their celebrity misadventures are a welcome distraction to all the harsh realities.
All right. That's a very good point. I like that point. And once again, this is a fucking pop culture show. We have to talk about those too. They're pop culture. I get it. And by the way, I was sleeping during last week's show. I essentially slept through last week's show. I was not in a great headspace. So maybe I didn't articulate myself as well as I possibly could. But yeah, sorry if that's the case. Here we go. Let's get some more. Let's get to Perez Pylon.
Hi, this is Becca. I'm calling from Providence, Rhode Island. I first off want to say I love you guys. Second off, I've been home with COVID for the last week. And honestly, this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial has been getting me through. So Perez is totally right. I am totally Team Johnny.
I get it. She's captive, trapped in a bed. Why not watch that? What else are you going to do? Finish Netflix? That's what I did. I watched every fucking show there was. I hope you feel better. This round of COVID sucks. Everybody's getting it. By work, it's weird. Like, I guess I'm just the first of the new round, but everyone's sick. I just so much family. I can't believe how many people are getting this again. And, guys, stay safe, mask up, really. A couple more here.
Hi,
how wrong I am.
Becca. I'm calling from Providence.
Did I just play her, didn't I? Maybe she called twice. Get another one. I'm trying to get some of the angry people.
Hi, my name is Maggie, and I'm calling from Chicago. This is a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you.
I just want to say for the first time, I am disagreeing with Booker. Perez, please say everything and anything about the Johnny Depp versus Amber trial. It is so juicy. And
all right, very good. Another Perez agreeer. Here we go.
Hey, my name is Katie, and I'm calling from Juneau, Alaska. I just want to say that Booker is 1,000% right on this whole Johnny Depp and Amber
Well, of
Heard
course,
thing.
somebody from Juneau, Alaska will say that.
Hey, that's a great fucking place. Don't be shitting on Juneau, Alaska. You've never been. You don't fucking know.
I'm not shitting on it, but she probably, is like a hiker and likes being outdoors.
Oh, shut up. She's out there living real life and not fucking,
She probably likes to fish and hunt and all of that.
Right. All those cool things instead of being chained to a fucking computer watching those two dipshits battle out nothing. Whatever. Here we go.
Hi, President Booker. My name's Madison. I'm calling from Austin, Texas. And I was just calling to weigh in on the Johnny Depp.
What do you think? Team Booker or Team Perez?
Team Perez, obviously.
Okay. No, seriously. I mean, is that your vote? You think she'll go your way? Because right now I don't know.
Everybody.
And this is to my point from earlier. I love the sweet. This is a person I could tell that listens every week that gets it. I can tell you the people that don't listen every week that have called in. Fucking assholes as those people.
Her trial. I don't understand how anybody has the time to actually sit and watch the whole thing play out. That being said, I still think it's fascinating, and I am somewhat ashamed to admit that. But I mean, it's dramatic. I like reading the highlights. I like, listening to podcasts, hearing people talk about it. So I'm enjoying hearing about it, but I personally would not watch it because I just don't.
Okay, I'm not giving either one of us a fucking
she even
point on
listens to podcasts about it. Okay, so that's totally.
She said she enjoys listening to podcasts and when they talk about it.
No, about it.
I'm not giving you a point on that one.
Oh, all right, whatever.
Marissa calling from Rhode Island, longtime listener. Love you guys. I just have to say, Booker, I'm sorry, but you are so wrong.
Okay, I'll give you the point on that one. That one sounds like you get the point on. That was definitive. That was Booker, you're fucking wrong, and Perez is right. Another one.
Hey guys, this is Jen from Washington State. I loved the podcast today. It was great.
So another one. I love her already. I even if she disagrees with me, which I know she's going to, I love her vibe. Right.
You made a really good point about how not everybody.
Hold on, let me back that.
She said Perez made a really good
Is that
point.
what it is? I couldn't hear.
Guys, this is Jen from Washington State. I loved the podcast today. It was great. Booker, you made a really good point about how not everybody is interested in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I'm with Perez. I'm interested in it. I'm not enough to watch it, but I read the articles about it. My husband's very much like you, Booker, though. He is not interested in the celebrity shit at all. He could.
All right. He couldn't care less. There you go. All right. Yeah. Are we done?
I think we're done. Almost every single person agreed with me.
Okay. That's how it went. So
yes.
Listen, thank you all. The calls, I can't tell. I would say we got more calls for this than anything we've ever done.
Because you were so wrong.
That's probably why. Let's go.
Yes,
with that.
That's exactly why.
Sure. Why not?
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching or listening this long. Enjoy our show in parts or with wine. Savor it, because right now, especially if you're a Drag Race fan, one of my Drag Race faves, he's been on the show, he's been on All Stars, he's in the RuPaul's Drag Race Live Spectacular in Las Vegas. I've known Derrick Barry a long time. We cover a lot of ground in our chat, and I hope you enjoy it. All right. Well, you are very busy. So much that I want to talk about that's going on right now. But I thought, this is a podcast. We have an opportunity to chat for more than 5 minutes. So let's take it back. You've been doing drag for a long time now. Not that you're old. You're not old. No. You're Never. Ageless. How many years have you been doing drag for?
I started doing drag on Halloween 2003, and that was in West Hollywood, where I went out, walked Santa Monica Boulevard with some friends. And at the time I was going to CSU Northridge as a theater major. And the reactions from people were just crazy. It was like a Slave for You inspired outfit that was very basic, because it was just material safety pin to a skirt and like material wrapped around a bra. I had no idea what I was doing, obviously, at that point, but everyone knew that I was doing Britney. So I knew that I was doing something right, and I knew I could make it a career or make money out of it some way.
You just knew right away by the reaction that you got out of people.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And I had been living in LA for I moved there in February of 2003. So I'd been there about 9 months at that point. And you know, you go to casting calls and you go to auditions and you meet with agents and managers, and so many people were just like, yeah, you're really cute. You know, you like Boy Next Door. So we'll see what we can use you for, what we can submit you for. And then the moment that I was dressed as Britney, it was like nobody could take their eyes off me. And I realized the power of drag. Absolutely realized it.
I have to give people a little context, because obviously now drag is so mainstream. Thank you, Drag Race. But yeah, when you started in 2003, drag was not mainstream. And you had the vision. You really are a visionary. You had the vision. You said, I can have a real career doing this. Actually, I'm going to go all over the place because I just want to have a conversation. And I've not asked anybody else that works in drag this before. You know, you mentioned that a career and a business. I always worry about my friends that do drag. Like, do you have health insurance? Do you pay for your own health insurance?
Yeah, we can get that through the show, which is really nice. In a Las Vegas show like Drag Race Live, we've been afforded things that did not come with other contracts in Vegas.
That's wonderful.
So we're really so well taken care of under RuPaul's umbrella and World of Wonder and Voss Events. And I've worked with Caesars Entertainment since my days at Divas. So I've been used to the treatment and how sweet they are. But having World of Wonder and Voss Events is a much better route than any other show I've been a part of, for sure.
Well, we'll talk about the show. But first, back to those early years. What drew, I mean, it's just a question I have to ask. What drew you to Britney? I mean, you could have just not even gone as her. You could have gone as anybody or
Anybody.
yourself. But
Yeah.
what about Britney that was gravitating towards that?
It was the first time that I ever saw the Baby One More Time video. I was also in high school. I'm just like a year younger than her. So watching that video, and I was a gymnast growing up, so I connected to that, and I loved that she was at school and she was having fun and her schoolgirl skirt was tied up, because those are like back in the day, the rules at school, your fingertips couldn't, your skirt had to be longer than your fingertips could go on the side of your thigh. Not that I was wearing skirts, but I was friends with all the girls. And so, you know, they'd get in trouble for wearing certain things. They couldn't show their belly button at school. And I just thought that was such a weird rule. And so for her to kind of break that rule and go mainstream with it, and be a singer and a dancer and a gymnast, I just thought she was beautiful. I thought the song was catchy. And so the first concert I ever saw, not just Britney, but ever saw, was Dream Within a Dream in Sacramento Arco Arena. And I saw the second leg of it. And I was mesmerized. Just
Is that the one
her,
where she had the rain coming
the
down?
rain curtain, and she's
that was
lifted
so good.
for, I mean, there's so much in that show that what a great first concert to see. Like, I mean, there's just not another one that will ever make me feel that way, because it was the first time that I saw all the special effects and the fire, and you know, everything that she had put together for that was so innovative. And so I had friends in high school that said I resembled her, and people thought we were crazy when we would tell people that. But there was a Skechers ad where her head was up, and she's in all denim. And we looked at the photo, and my friend Vanessa was like, Derrick, this looks like you, like, look. And she covered up the hair, and I was like, oh my God, that does look like me. That's weird. And so when I was living in LA and we were going out for Halloween, I was like, guys, I gotta go as Britney Spears, because when else am I gonna have the opportunity to do this? And she was coming out with Me Against the Music, or that was already out. She was coming out with In the Zone. And so I knew that this was like a big moment for her.
Always thinking, just great timing.
That was the next big thing for her at that point. You know, she had just kissed Madonna that last VMAs, like a month or two before that. So everyone was still talking about Britney. And so right after Halloween, we went to see her on The Tonight Show, and we had to sleep outside for tickets. So then the next morning we went back to my apartment, and my friend did my makeup again. And I showed up at The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and I walked the crowd of people, like the line of people, dressed as Britney, singing, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. And they were like, oh my God, who's this? What's going on? Like, they loved it. And so they put me in the second row on The Tonight Show, and Britney talked to me on the show, and Jay Leno talked about me and called me Britney Spears, which was my email address for a while back in the day. But it was amazing to be that close to her and have her eyes on me after being a fan of hers for that past 5 years. To have that exchange so quickly in drag got me there. You know,
so quickly. It's like a Cinderella story.
I know.
So, you know, you started, and typically when somebody gets into drag, they create this alter ego, but you've chosen, typically, but there are exceptions, like, you know, quite known on Drag Races, Chad Michaels, but you chose to keep your name, Derrick Barry.
Yeah.
Why did you keep your name when doing drag?
Well, that was important to me because when the RuPaul was the only drag queen I had ever met, or not met, ever heard of, in my time in the 90s, early 2000s. We didn't have drag queens in Modesto, California. I didn't know of gay clubs. There was nobody, there was no social media then to like find out who drag queens were and any of that. So I knew RuPaul, and I figured that was his name. And then the same night as The Tonight Show, I went down to Mickey's nightclub, and Chad Michaels was having his Dreamgirls show at Mickey's back then, and it was on a Monday night. And I remember walking in dressed as Britney in the same Slave for You Halloween outfit. And I said to him, well, I want to be in your show. I do Britney. And he's like, oh my God. Okay. Well, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 19. And he's like, whoa. Okay. Well, you can't do drag in my show, but we can put you in the college night on Tuesdays. And so I came back the next night and auditioned.
Wait, this
And,
was before social media. So you didn't slide into Chad Michael's DMs. You just spoke to Chad in person. You're like, I want to be in your show.
Showed up at the club and
love
just
that.
told them, Britney's got an album coming out tomorrow, and I think you guys need a Britney, and that's me. And they were like,
love that.
They were shocked. They were like, well, do you sing? Do you dance? What do you do? And I said, all of it. I do all of it. Like, very confident. Now that I look back on it,
that's what it
overly
takes.
confident, but it was what got the attention. So I got hired for college night. And I remember Chad handed me his business card, and he was dressed as Cher from Living Proof with the blonde hair. And I met him without his hair on. Obviously, he's like getting ready for a show. I totally bombarded his dressing room. And it said Chad Michaels on there. And that was now the first queen that I'd ever met. And he looked like Cher. And I thought, well, if you're Chad Michaels and RuPaul's RuPaul, then I'm Derrick Barry. That's just, Britney's going to be one character that I do. And drag is only a part of what I do in acting. Yeah. So I want my name famous.
Would you say that Chad Michaels is your drag mother?
I mean, he's definitely like a fairy drag mother, because he kind of helped set me up to get me to Mickey's on college night. And then he also was the one that put me in touch with the producer Norbert Alamond for Lacage in Las Vegas. So he was really intricate in building
I love
me up
that.
and helping me. But he knew when he first saw me, and he said it before. He said, Derrick naturally resembles Britney. That's like, he has a natural innate talent to look like her. And he saw that, and he also saw the work ethic that I was putting into it to go to the next level. So he's amazing. I mean, still one of my number one inspirations.
So just to remind everybody, Derrick's been doing this for 19 years. And even before, you've got to do a 20th anniversary tour next year.
I would love to. Yeah, I want to do a whole tour of, like, it's basically Britney through the eras. Ooh. Because as I've been performing my career, you know, I always like to get at least 2 costumes from her tour have made. So like an opening and a closing costume. So I would really love to do, like, you know, a 20th anniversary tour, but it's really Britney's kind of a flashback of her career as well. So it'd be fun.
You could even start with Star Search.
Oh my God, have that dress made.
Yes, that'd be kind of really funny. I don't know.
It would be so cute.
So what happened first, your gig in your initial gig in Vegas, or, to remind people, you were also on America's Got Talent? I would imagine Vegas came first.
Yeah, I moved to Vegas. I was
What year did you move there? So just a year later. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was about 6 months that I had been doing drag. And then I auditioned for Lacage in April of 2004. And I was still underage at that point. So they kind of told me, like, well, you know, you're going to be 21 soon, but just kind of tell people that you're 21. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, not a big deal. Just because I couldn't even be on the casino floor, you know, which was super weird. But also our showroom was on another level. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I got the job on that audition and moved out, and I was going to stay for 6 months. And that turned into 4 years at Lacage. And then I did America's Got Talent in 2008. And so I decided to leave Lacage and tour, because Britney was coming out with Circus. And I was like, well, this is her next era, you know, like In the Zone was where I started doing drag, and now Circus tour was how I was going to start touring with my Britney act after the world had finally gotten to see me on America's Got Talent. So I followed her Circus tour for the entire year of 2009, basically hitting the city that she was in before she was there to advertise that she's coming, or I would be doing the after parties the same night, or I was there that next weekend. So it just kind of depended on the
Were-
dates, how they lined up.
And back in 2009, were you booking all of this yourself? Did you even have an agent or a manager back then?
I was really lucky to meet Amanda Lepore's manager at Crave nightclub, and he was very nice. And he had told me, well, if you ever want to travel, let me know. So I started to reach out to people to see if maybe I could book myself. And I got a lot of offers of people saying, oh, well, we have $500, but you have to fly here and pay for your hotel and your transportation. And I was like, no, that absolutely not. That means I make zero money. No. So I reached out to the manager and said, I'm available now. I can travel. Because before I only had Tuesdays off. And he set me up with my booking agent, who I'm still with to this day, Michael Benedetti with the Benedetti Group. And he just, all of his contacts that he had accrued through the years, he sent out my circus one sheet that, had the bullet points of my career highlights and the things that I have done. And people just booked right away. Like dates started filling in, and I couldn't believe that it could happen that fast, but it existed, like people like Lady Bunny who have been touring for years at that point. And I just didn't know how to do that, or how I didn't have the resources to find these nightclubs. And, I was Vegas and California. That was like all I knew at that point.
And when you were doing the Lacage show in Vegas, was as Britney?
Yeah, all as Britney. We did one number. And then I started with Oops, I Did It Again into Slave for You. And then about 6 months or a year into it, I wanted to do Toxic into Slave for You, because I just loved, it was, it's my favorite song still, not just Britney, but my favorite song. And so they let me do that. And then we had a little like curtain call moment. It was the easiest.
And you did that for 4 years.
4 years.
And you only had one night off a week?
Tuesday nights. And you did not get time off.
Wow. But wait, so you had your moment in the show and then the curtain call. So you had to stay for the whole show though.
Yeah, I was lucky I was at the end, because it was like the newest act that was added. So I think the only people that went after me were Cher and Michael Jackson, because they, like, how do you top those? So they're the best.
You could arrive a little bit later than the show start, or you have to be there right at the show start?
I would start my makeup when the show started, because I was about an hour in, and that was plenty of time back then. Back then I was like, oh, a little smoky eye and some mascara. And
now it takes you a lot more than an hour?
Oh yeah, now it's at least 2.
2 hours?
Yeah, some people take 3, 4, 5, 6.
Who takes 6 hours doing their makeup? Name a name. Tell me one queen that takes 6 hours doing their makeup.
Oh my God.
Or 5.
RuPaul even says he likes 6 hours to get ready. Yep. Yeah.
That's wild. That's just too much time. Well, that also explains why Ru doesn't like doing drag that much.
Yeah, because if you think of that's a quarter of your day. And another quarter is spent sleeping. So it's a lot. But yeah, 2 hours is perfect. Like everything's set up at the show. I'm still like rushing to the stage when they call 2 minutes and places, I'm like, I'm not done, but I always make it out there.
So for your time on America's Got Talent, for those that did not watch, what did you do on that show? Did you just lip sync to Britney? Did you sing live? What was your act on AGT?
So when I auditioned for America's Got Talent in front of the producers, I sang Toxic. It was basically like a little version of my Lacage set. So it was Toxic into I'm a Slave for You. And I brought 2 backup singers with me. And I think the first one we did a cappella. They wanted a cappella, and then we got to do it with a track as well. But then when we got to the live round, same thing, we sang it, and they, for some reason, couldn't clear to use Britney's music, but they could clear to use her track. So I thought that was kind of weird, but I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to argue. Like, you guys know what you're doing. I am not even going to try to fight this because it was just a dream to be on America's Got Talent. And so then that one ended up airing lip sync to Britney's music, and then the same with Give Me More. We sang that live in Vegas for Vegas week, and then that was tracked over. And then so Baby One More Time that I did for the top 40 was the first time that I actually lip sync on the show without any live vocals.
And what was your journey on AGT? Like, how did you end up doing?
I unfortunately didn't make it past the top 40. And I think that a big part of that is I just don't think some parts of America were ready to advance an impersonator, a female impersonator, drag queen, you know, however you want to be called. But it still put me in front of people. And so I was just so happy with my placement. And
yeah, it's amazing.
Drag Race came out the following January. So that really, I feel like if I had done America's Got Talent a little bit later, when, you know, people started to know more what drag was, it could have been different. But at the same time, that led me to all the other places that I've been. So I can't complain at all.
So you have done Drag Race more than once now. You've done the regular one, you've done All Stars.
Yeah, Vegas Review.
Well, you're in the live show as well. What was obviously not only that, you also had or still do a web show with World of Wonder as well. So I'm going to assume you have a very good relationship with the producers of the show.
Yeah, very happy with when we were first asked to do this.
You were asked to do Drag Race? You were recruited?
For season 1 and 2, yes, they had reached out to me. And I was doing the live round for top 40 the same time they were filming season 1, so I couldn't do that. And then season 2, I was on my own circus tour. So I was like, oh guys, there's just no way there's no way I could do this. So then I didn't hear back from them.
Nobody really gave a shit back then, the first 2 seasons either.
Yeah, I know. And I would have gotten read to death if I did Drag Race. And I was like, well, this is this Britney look, and that's that one. And this is my wardrobe. You know, they would have been like, you could go home. So, I mean, I still dealt with that from the Queens on season 8. And I only brought the entrance look and a Snatch Game look for Britney. So it was just a very different experience. But when I auditioned for season 7, I put my audition in late and I didn't hear back. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Like now I don't know if I'll ever hear back from them because I just told them I couldn't do the first 2. And then season 8, I auditioned and I heard back within like a half an hour. And then got on that and made top 5. And then unfortunately went home first on All Stars. But I feel like because of that, I got the Vegas show because I was the only local resident that was cast in the Vegas show, and I was the only non-Voss girl. So of the 6 of us, I'm the only one not signed with Voss Events. And when we had our first rehearsal who produced the show with World of Wonder, yeah. And so when we had our first rehearsal, Rue talked to us in LA, and he's like, I chose each of you for a reason. You all are going to be the face of RuPaul's Drag Race Live, and people that come from all over the world are going to get to see drag through what you present to them. And ever since then, it's just always been in my head, one of 6. Like I got chosen to be one of 6 in a cast that hundreds of people could have been chosen for, and still there. I'm the only one still there from the original contract because some have gone off to work the world. And some just wanted to do other things, like, you know, they did their 6 months, and I told them they're going to have to fire me because I am never quitting.
What's the schedule for this show in Vegas? How many nights a week are you guys doing it?
5 days, and we also get time off to travel, and we have 3 swings in the show as well. So it's really nice because
shows. Are the swings known? Are the swings Drag Race people or just like regular drag
Yeah.
queens from Vegas?
Yeah, everything. Everyone in the show has been on Drag Race. So our 3 swings right now are Coco Montrese, Kahana Montrese, and Alexis Mateo.
Oh, okay.
And then the actual cast kind of just like they just introduced Roxy Andrews. She's going to be coming on May 5th to join the show. And Ginger Minge is hosting for about 6 weeks right now over the summer, while Asia O'Hara is in Work the World. And then Jasmine Kennedy from the newest season is joining us as well as a special guest. So it's really, originally they wanted like a 6-month contract or a year contract, and now they're bringing people in for like a 1
Stints.
month or
yeah,
exactly.
like Chicago on Broadway, like Pamela Anderson
exactly
for a month and a half
exactly.
or whatever.
Yeah, love that.
Are there any Drag Race alums that you would love to do the show with you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would love for Farrah to come to do a Christina number. I think that would be a lot of fun. And if there's ever a time that Sonique, Farrah, and I were in the show, I would love to redo Madonna's VMA performance. You know, Britney, Madonna, Christina would be so fun to see recreated live. Because a lot of people have done it in a nightclub or they've done a photo shoot, but to actually like do it big on a Vegas stage, I think would be incredible. But Kimora Black would be a lot of fun. I love her from our time on Wait What. And I mean, the dream host to come in would be Bianca Del Rio. I think that Bianca's awesome. I could see that happening, you know, her doing it for a limited engagement.
Maybe like around Christmas time, spend New Year's in Vegas with Bianca and the Drag Race live cast. Oh, yes. I'm always thinking.
I love that.
How many numbers do you do in the show?
So we have 8 changes for this show.
You have 8 changes?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like we are on stage. There's an opening number. There's a mini challenge. There is a ballad. It's called Mirror Song. There's the talent portion, the showgirl runway, the lip sync, the finale,
fun.
The curtain call, and then the meet and greet. So
wow,
you'll get to see because you're coming soon. So
I'm definitely gonna go. Is there are there some audience participation moments during the show?
Yes, yeah, and that's what's fun too is that there's a whole segment in the middle of the talent portion where someone gets to come up and interact with the host. And also the audience, they're made to feel, because we do break the fourth wall and we talk to them, and we're all mic'd, so we can talk to anybody in the audience, and they really do feel like they're at a live taping of the show, which is what the goal was. You're supposed to feel like you're on set watching RuPaul's Drag Race be filmed live. It's amazing.
And it's a great thing to do, you know, like before you go to the club, go see
Absolutely.
the show and go with your gays and your gals, or have your bachelorette parties. I'm sure you get a lot of bachelorette parties and all of that stuff.
Bachelorette parties, birthday parties, people that are coming in to get married. They're like getting married the next day, or they just got married. There's been times I've officiated weddings out here, and then they come to see the show that night, and then I have Asia bring them up for the audience participation. So, and the meet and greet. So
you said that so casually. That's part of the of your repertoire. You officiate weddings.
I do. Yeah.
I love that.
I started doing that about 5 years ago because people were saying like that, you know, that would be their dream to get married by Britney or a drag queen or me, or, you know, so we just started kind of figuring out how to do all that. And
always thinking
Vegas is the capital of, you know, of weddings. So yeah, I'm super happy that I've also, you know, kind of started doing that as well. And it's in town. So I'm so blessed to have another gig here.
You know, and when people go to Vegas, they like to party and have fun and see a show like Drag Race Live. And I would imagine sometimes audience members might get a little rowdy or a little too drunk or whatever. Have you had any crazy moment with anybody during the show?
Oh, absolutely. There was one right before our Christmas break, and this guy, in the beginning, we kind of talk about like, you know, there's going to be one winner tonight, and the audience is going to vote on the winner, you know, things like that. And so one guy in the audience, kind of close to the front, he was like, "Bye, Derrick." And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let that go because they feel like they're a part of the show. And then he said something else right after, in the same opening segment. And then he said, "It's not gonna be you, Derrick." And so I walked towards him on the runway and I said, "Let me remind you something right now. My mic is live, it is on. Yours is off. So I'm always going to get the last word. Don't embarrass yourself anymore." And the audience went crazy. And that same guy ended up kind of heckling Asia through the show.
Oh my
and then
God.
security finally had to kick him out towards the end. So that's the only time where I felt like someone was going a little too far. But
Yeah.
otherwise, we hear things like when we're lip syncing, they'll scream who their favorite is or who they want to win, or like "Go Derrick" or "Go Naomi," or things like that. That's not anything that bothers me. But yeah, that one person got to me. But I'll remind people, I'm mic'd and you're not.
And Drag Race Live started just before COVID, and then COVID happened.
I know.
I still see or in my brain those images of Vegas and the Strip just like empty. What was that time in Las Vegas like for you, like 2020?
I never went down to see the Strip because I feel like much like living in New York, a lot of people didn't want to see New York shut down like that. Like, you don't want to see Times Square empty. And that's how I felt about the Strip. So I didn't go down there because I didn't want that a part of my memory bank. And I feel like I would always remember that image. So I'm like, let me just enjoy life right now, because I've never had a break. I've been working since forever. And it was a forced break, which obviously I would never have chosen to take it like that. But I did enjoy the outside hikes that I got to do, and bike riding and rollerblading, and I ate way more food than I should have, and I got really good at Fortnite. So just things that I never ever would have time to do.
So you're the perfect person to ask this question. I've not asked anybody else from Drag Race this before, and especially because you did it a long time ago. Then you were on All Stars. Now you're on Drag Race Live. So you're what I would think is a personality that is one of the most associated with Drag Race. But that when you first did it all those moons ago, there weren't as many queens as there are now. So kind of like with every cycle, with every year, there's just more people. And I would imagine that could affect the livelihoods of some others. Like, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
How do you treat your career now?
Well,
with it being such a crowded, with it being such a crowded market, such a crowded, I mean, you've got your gig, so you're kind of blessed.
Yeah, I think it's because I was doing Britney before America's Got Talent and before Drag Race. I feel like I'll always do this as a character. Like, if you're gonna ask me, if you could perform one song for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I would say Toxic. Like, you could do it acoustic, you could do a remix, you could do the original. Like, there's just so many ways to do that song. You could do it with a full live band. So I'll always choose Britney for that reason. And as much heat as I got from doing that on the show, and as many people have said, well, you're not a drag queen because you're just an impersonator. They don't realize that when you find something to do that makes you different, that gives you a way to stick out, that's a blessing. And I would never close the door on that opportunity because someone said that I'm not a drag queen. And I feel like Vegas has reminded me, especially being in the show, like, everyone kind of does their own different talent. We had Vanjie was doing a stripper routine, Cameron Michaels was doing magic, Asia was doing like fire and baton twirling and all this for Phenomenon. Naomi was doing fashion, Evie was doing circus. So we were all doing something very different, and I was the impersonator, and I'm the impersonator in the show. which that's Vegas was built on impersonation shows, because you didn't buy a ticket to see a drag queen, you bought a ticket to see a impersonator impersonate a celebrity, because that's what people were comfortable buying a ticket to. So now, of course, it's all changed, and I'm so blessed to be a part of that evolution. But I remember back in the day when people would ask you, when they found out you did drag, the first question is, well, who do you do? What's the character you do? Because it wasn't common that you just dressed up in drag and were your own character. You had to do a celebrity female illusion to kind of make everybody comfortable with it. And now these Drag Race girls are their own celebrities. It's just crazy to see.
Yeah, it's changed so much. And you mentioned you live in Vegas. You've been there now for a long time. Do you love living in Las Vegas?
I do. I love it here because the strip is so close, and whenever I want to feel like that, like chaoticness, I can drive down there, and the airport's very close as well. And Nick's entire family is here. My partner, Nick San Pedro, who
did Mariah. Yeah.
You know about original Nick San Pedro.
I know. I have it in my house. I love it.
That was so fun to watch that be created, by the way, because I was here for that whole process, and just all of it, you communicating with Nick, and the day they came and created it and shipped it out to you, it's just like, I'll never forget. All that was such a cool time in life. It was amazing. And we still get to see it in a lot of your video posts. We get to see it.
Yeah.
So I love that.
So since you've been with Nick, you have another partner. You're in a throuple, infamously, or famous, or no, not infamous, whatever. But I don't know if maybe you've answered this and I just haven't heard it. And I'm just curious. You're in a monogamous throuple.
Yeah,
right?
So we call it trinogamous, which I don't know if that's a real term, but that's a term for us.
I like it. But what I want to know is, at home, do you three sleep in the same bed every night?
We do, which I wish there was something bigger than a king, because
there's a California king. You have a California king?
I think the California one is longer. So we need the one that's wider.
Okay, yeah.
Although they're both so tall. They're 6'2" and 6'5", and I'm sitting like very comfortably at 5'9". So I'm comfortable in any bed. I could sleep in a twin.
The three of you sleep in the same bed every night. That's two other people.
I know.
We're like around the same age. I have to wake up in the middle of the night to go pee. I would wake up two other people. I don't know that whole concept. I mean, I understand the concept of a throuple, but sleeping in the same bed every night, that I do not understand.
Yeah, it definitely gets warm in the summer. So the air conditioner has to, definitely crank out more cold air, and we have fans on us and everything. But in the winter, it's so nice because we keep the house cooler and just heat it up with like the fireplace. And so I love those winter nights, or like the springtime where we can open the windows and the cool air comes in. So I feel like it's hardest on Mac because he wanted to sleep in the middle. I've tried it. I hate it. I like to be on my side with, facing outside the bed and getting some good sleep, but he likes being in the middle. So that if that works for him, that works for me.
And you've been doing that for a long time now.
Yeah, almost 10 years, over 10 years now. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, the three of us, and then Nick and I have been together for 15.
Wow. Well, everybody go see Derrick and Drag Race Live. It's at the Flamingo.
It's at the Flamingo, yeah, and it's 5 nights a week at 9:30 Thursday through Monday nights.
And I'm sure if you just Google Drag Race Live, it'll show you how to buy tickets for that.
Yep, it's listed on Ticketmaster. You can also get your tickets through vossevents.com, and you can get it through Caesars.com as well, which makes it super easy.
And you mentioned that you guys do a meet and greet, a paid, upgrade meet and greet too. So there's that as well, which would be really fun. I'm going to see the show this summer. I can't wait to see it and see you. And I cherish you all, you and the partners. So thank you.
We love you,
and
Perez.
I'll see you soon.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you for going on this journey with us. What a ride today's show has been. We appreciate you. 800-721-1185 if you want to call in about anything, and share the link with your family, friends, coworkers, classmates, PerezPodcast.com.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon next week.